I'm going to go live because I know what time it is. And yeah, well, look at the chat room. We have a lively chat room here today. I'll just wait for everyone to show up. Half of which were in the middle. No, more than half. If Paul, Ryan, and Nuke, those guys, all Navy. Maybe the Navy doesn't stay on time. Maybe punctuality is like an Army, Marines, Air Force thing. Thought I had a good topic. You guys can't see it. There's like a chat room, and I'm like, okay, hey, what's going on? I guess I'm unique in that way, in that everybody usually shows up 3 to 5 minutes late. Always wondered about that with baseball. They always have obscure times. It starts at 7:06 p.m. What the hell? Actually, while we're waiting for our esteemed panelists, why do baseball games start at odd times? Opening say commercial comeback first pitch. Okay, I found out. Look at this. Look at this. We're not going to waste any time here, boys and girls. Why do baseball games have such weird start times? This is just one of the stories. Oh, okay. 105 is to blah, blah, blah. With the Houston Astros and the Philadelphia Phillies squaring off in the first game of the World Series tonight, you may have been noticing something unusual about the game times. Instead of being scheduled for the top of the hour, playing is set at 8:03 p.m. Baseball games are scheduled off the hour throughout the season, starting at any number of minutes after the hour in a way that seems oddly specific. That's because teams take into account factors like the logistics of broadcast television and aim to give people enough time to get parked and enter the venue, according to represent. We're on baseball time. We're on baseball time. See? I got to account for everybody being special little Americans. Like, oh, well. According to a representative of Major League Baseball, the Major League Baseball said teams playing at home set their own game times with the exception of certain special national games. Local regional sports networks come on the air at the top of the hour or bottom of the hour, do an opening segment, like take a commercial break and come back for the first pitch. That usually takes a few minutes, so our game times factor in some of the realities of that television product, according to Major League spokesperson. If a TV window starts at 7, a first pitch at 7:05 or 7:10 allows them to introduce the game because you didn't know what was going on. People just randomly showed up at the baseball stadium. What are we here for? I don't know. And then the announcer comes on. We're here for the game. Oh, a game. Oh, that's what the people with the sticks and the spheres are for. Oh, Nuke. Nuke is here. Hello, Nuke. How are you?
Good. And you? How are you?
I'm wondering, did they teach time in the military? Was that a thing? Or
we were on the reactor's time. Whenever the reactor wanted to wake up or shut down or break, we worked around that.
Oh, okay. So the reactor was the God Almighty and
yeah,
dictated
it was
what
the
it
baby. Yeah, it was the.
I got shit audio. Well, how you been?
Good. I went salsaing and bachata all night last night.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was good. I got burned a lot of calories and had a lot of fun, so that's good.
A lot of people don't realize how much working out. Hey, Thor's here. All right. Thor.
Guys, how are you doing, man?
Good to see you, man.
Looking better.
Yeah, as good as he can. I mean, it's Thor. I mean, we got to work with what we got. So
there's actually remarkable recovery news. Although the prognosis is in, I will tell you privately, there is a change in the battle plan severely.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's good to see you anyway, Thor. I'm glad you're here with us. Yeah. So, but I was going to ask Nuke. A lot of people do not know about salsa dancing, swing day, ballroom dancing, but I went dancing last night for the first time in ages.
Wow, good.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, I still remember how to do this stuff. It's all kind of like muscle memory now. Nice. But it was a swing dancing venue, and I know in my day they would kind of phase out, they would age out, and so this was like the last gasping breath of a star before it goes supernova. Because it was like the 48-year-old virgin crowd and everyone's overweight and no one's on beat. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was rough.
But if you were doing it all night, I got to imagine there was some pretty good looking tail and it was a vibrant community is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm friends with the DJ and my birthday's on Monday, so I was kind of celebrating it last night.
Mm.
So I didn't have one break. I was dancing all night. I had to tell people, hey, I'm having a drink. I can't dance right now. And stuff. So yeah.
I remember on birthday dances they play this like 6-minute song. Well, salsa songs go pretty long anyway, but there was a 6-minute sing, 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 was it? And it was a fast song, and then you'd have to dance with all the girls, like you get the birthday
the circle. Yeah.
Woo, that was
Also the secret weapon, gentlemen.
Yes,
What-
it is.
That kind of dancing is a very secret weapon. The courtship, the whole
The leading,
process. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
the touching. You're touching a lot. You're grabbing her by her hips, waist, hands. And if a girl wants to talk to you, she'll move in and talk to you while you dance. It's kind of annoying, but hey, if you got big boobs, that's why not?
Well, I don't know. Was anyone else showing up or what? Because we could.
John is a little late because he's dropping his kids off.
What about the other Navy fellows? Your fellow Navy men?
No, he's traveling. He's traveling. Are you talking about Paul?
Yeah, Paul
and
Bauer. Yeah,
are they showing up or what?
Yeah, he's trying to save somebody from a marriage.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He told us. Yeah. I remember.
He's on a mission right now.
He's trying to convince somebody not to get married. Wow, that's dedication right there. You know.
Wait, what? Wait, tell me. You gotta tell me this. Wait, he's going somewhere, like Save Silverman the movie or something?
Yeah. Like that, yeah.
He's driving somewhere to stop someone from getting married.
Yes, he's coming to China, Florida, to stop a friend from getting married if he can.
What a friend!
I know.
There's the song "What a Friend We Have in Jesus," but we should probably have a "What a Friend You Have in Paul."
Yeah.
He that man. If he saves his life, he deserves to name his firstborn after him.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's get to this because I got stuff to do and you guys got stuff too. So Luke, okay. Now, Thor, how familiar are you with anime? Are like you at all aware of it or kind of
I mean, I like Afrojack Samurai. It's about the only thing I ever.
Oh, okay. Good call.
Yeah, but that's really it, you know.
All right. Well, for the most part, 98% of anime sucks, and there's like few glimmering hopes of bits.
Hold
of anime,
on.
like Afro Samurai. So Nuke, if you didn't know, is a big not Pirates of the Caribbean. Nuke, what the hell is it?
What?
One Piece.
One Piece. That's good, actually.
Yeah. No. And I understand that Nuke is young. I understand that in his
35.
World, all anime, there's only 2 animes. It's Dragon Ball Z and One Piece, but we'll try to expand his horizons.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Have you seen the original Akira?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we'll go. let me paint that. Do you remember the scene where it's the scientist and he's got that almost like crystal ball, but it's more like a hologram?
Yeah. I watched it 2 years ago. So I'm trying to remember, but yeah, keep going. It'll probably come back to me.
It's an obscure reference, but I kind of like it because not everything is so black and white where like you see empirical data coming along and, kind of here it's kind of the same thing with the internet and social media. Like you start to see trends, but it's not a detailed empirical report. And I started seeing a couple things that indicate to me that on a very atomic, subdued level, like at what point does the oil tanker, it's going one way, it achieves 0 velocity in one way, and now it starts to turn back. It's not a big momentous occasion. It's not very clear. And I'm starting to see things in my little crystal ball of the social media internet world where I think there's this underswell or ground swelling or something that's coming where it's the end of Girl Boss. And what kind of made it a crystallized thought was a while ago, I wrote an article about Mad Max and how I'm not going to go see it because it was all the feminist propaganda indoctrination. And it's the end. This was 9 years ago. And boy, did I call it, because that was about the beginning of where now it's all girl boss woke. But way back then, I caught a lot of flack internationally for writing that piece where people are like, oh, it's just got a girl. Oh, man, misogyny. And now we've had nothing but girl boss superhero shoved in our face that it is so blinding and so much that people are upchucking it. Right. And I think I don't know what it was, but it was like 9 years ago or something, and the snow that caused the avalanche was all these uh, media companies getting shut down or laying people off. Vice, I guess, is actually going to shut down the website. BuzzFeed was belly up.
Twitter.
Jezebel. What's that?
Twitter laid off a bunch of people too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Facebook.
but Twitter, I kind of understand because Elon Musk is trying to make a profitable company. But 10 years ago, let's just say, journalists still might have had some kind of air of authority hiding behind a brand name of, like, say, the New York Times or Condé Nast and all that. And now that their pants are pulled down and reality is not true, you're starting to see it's like the Patriot, where they finally get the British on the run, but they don't see it because they're at the bottom of the hill. And all these journals getting laid off, particularly of the female variety, and especially those that, there are hundreds of them, wrote these articles. I started looking up all these journalists that wrote all these articles. The vast majority of women. Guess how their lives are. Take a wild guess 9 years later, how all these prestigious journals, disproportionate to the female variety, guess where they are now?
They're probably broke, old, single, childless,
Nonprofit.
unhappy.
It's an easy guess.
SSRI.
Yep.
Yeah, SSRIs.
Yeah. And related, I know I'm throwing a lot of stuff in here. Have you guys ever heard of an Emily Gould, Gould?
This rings a bell.
Writer.
She's a writer.
Uh-huh.
How do you know, Thor?
I occasionally read her.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought you were just good looks and charm. I didn't know you were literate.
Yeah, he has a book too.
He could write too. My God, he's a miracle child.
Turns out, yeah.
So there's an article came out not too long ago by Emily Gould, and it is the most atrocious piece of trash. Speak of the devil. It's the most atrocious piece of trash I've ever read, and it's her excusing her horrifically selfish and bad behavior, abandoning kids, not literally, but I had to go. I've got bipolar disease. I can't be a wife, or a mother. She spends money, and then posting all this private information about her family on a blog post just to get traction. I looked at it. This woman's like 42, 43. This is where it ends up. This is like their victory lap. And so with all this combined, I'm looking at it, and you, of course, in the shadow of pretty much every girl boss movie failing, I personally think that this is the beginning of the end of the girl boss, and want to enlist your guys' opinion of it. And here with us is Ryan Stone. How you doing, Ryan?
It's good to see you, man. Now that I've had breakfast, I'm pleasant. I didn't want to take it out on you.
Oh, were you ornery before?
Oh, no idea.
Yeah, I'm also if I don't have breakfast, I get cranky kind of person, or coffee, or I need something in the morning. I can't just
coffee,
leave.
breakfast.
Something.
Yeah. Okay.
Red Bull cigarette and some dip. Yeah, the
Oh
Navy
my
breakfast.
God, that's such a millennial sailor thing.
Yeah.
Red Bull and a cigarette.
Yep.
And dip?
Yeah, dip was the currency on a ship. Like, you couldn't use money to pay for stuff because that was illegal. Like between two sailors, so they would just say, hey, I'll give you 2 cans of dip and you help me qualify this, or you let me have your watch, or whatever,
Dip, like chip dip?
No, like dip.
No, like the
chewing.
skull or.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And everyone was doing it, from the youngest sailor to the old crusty master chief. So I didn't do it because I was like, I don't know, it's not for me.
Yeah,
so
you were the Boy Scout on the show.
Yeah, I was definitely a Boy Scout. But I would say for this movie stuff, the executives are in a tough spot, because what happens is you work at a company, right? And you have a big movie coming out. Let's say, I don't know, Madam Web, right? Where you have maybe 30% of your staff and your writers are women, right? And whenever you go on to announce this stuff, the women go out, the actresses, the writers, and all that stuff. They go out and they also talk about it. And you had that girl from like Snow White was like, yeah, this Snow White is not going to be a feminine Snow White. She's not going to get saved by the prince, right? Which is like the whole point of Snow White, right? And she said that in an interview, right? And they had to postpone the movie for like a year. Like, they had to run back to the studio and be like, hey, she messed up. She said something really stupid. So now executives in a tight spot. Like, do we want to make money, but we can't. There's a certain level of pandering that you have to do to women, but they're over pandering. Like you have to pander to women, right? If you want to make money, it's just the rules. Them's the rules. But right now, the writers and the actresses, all that, they're talking. Like the lead actress for Madam Web, she went on shows and said, "I don't understand Spider-Man," or I'm like, why are you saying this? Shut up. Just look pretty. Like, just don't say this. The nerds are gonna come after you, not want to watch your movie. Like you can only be hot. Being hot only takes you so far. So it just keeps happening. Like in every big new remake, girl boss remake of anything, or side story or spinoff, the women are the ones that are like destroying they're starting to destroy their own product because they just can't keep their mouth shut, right? So I don't know what's gonna happen with that. So yeah.
Well, and you make a good point that, you know, the generation, people are like, we could talk about should all day, but you deal with the mental capacity of the generations that are occupying your institutions at the moment in time. And this is, I guarantee you, there is a huge performance handicap when you have a bunch of zillennial types who are all hoped up and doped up on politics, identity politics, and all that. But that, and we'll kind of get to that aside, but I kind of want to, do you guys think we might have reached peak girl boss at this point in time?
Yes, I have a historical take on that, Cappy, that I actually started about 4 months ago. I think there is an undertow that's starting to reverse. But just having watched this for a while and being in corporate America, I think Newt kind of touched on it with the corporations, all that stuff. And here was the outline of what I wanted to write in the next year was managed reality, the greatest tool ever invented. We're living in managed reality, and this is what's happening with a lot of these folks. And a managed reality is they convince themselves of all these wonderful things, basically a land of lies. I mean, you've mentioned it yourself on your own. This is all lies. But managing reality makes life comforting, and it gives people a sense of righteousness. It's ephemeral, kind of grows a consciousness of its own. And I've seen these corporations really double down in full 100% belief that they're absolutely right in their conviction to do these things in the face of absolute monetary disaster. In their face, go down burning with the ship. The only other thing I can liken it to, didn't they have those communist believers back in the day under managed reality that would walk right up to the trench and didn't realize it until the gun was at the back of their head that it wasn't really managed reality. There's actually an objective reality that overlays and pokes through.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that
I'm wondering
to show, you know, that, hey, I've been a girl boss for a long time, but my base programming is not fulfilled by this.
I don't know if these studios are actually losing money on these deals because isn't the government like giving companies and these people,
subsidies? Yeah,
tons of money for doing the DEI crap. So like,
I was being very basic with
the big money people still profit off of the bomb.
Yeah, let me that's a good point, Fitch, because not to bore people with a financial lesson, but it's kind of important. That comes in on the financing side. That's not whether their products make a profit or not. So let's say you're Disney, and not to bore people, but you don't always take your own cash and create a movie or a project with it. You go to a bank or you go to an investment bank and you either sell stock or you borrow money. Usually it's borrowing money. And that's where that ESG stuff comes in. Because if you'd like this interest rate, you got to abide by ESG. And so they say, oh, okay, I want a 3% interest rate and we'll have 40% whatever minority, some kind of lesson and meeting the ESG requirements of it. And they produce an utter piece of shit garbage product, which is all they've been doing. But then, yes, Disney and Sony and all these other, Warner Brothers and the comic books industry, all of them are losing money because it takes X amount to make the product and they are getting a fraction of this back. And so they are hurting, but it goes back to Thor's point where the people at the helm are probably completely unaware because, and let's take the case of Disney.
Of course they are. They're like, how come, what's wrong with men today? Why wouldn't they come watch this movie? Men are messed up. It was a shitty movie.
Not only that, they don't even understand the concept of, hey, this has to be profitable because otherwise we will run out of money. And some of these companies are so big, like in the case of Disney, where their theme parks make money and essentially float and finance the losses of the movie making department. And when you're talking your theater actor types Okay, we are not talking intelligent people, and I do mean that. You guys are all fucking stupid if anyone's listening, but they don't have business acumen. They don't know anything about accounting.
It's
They
all
just think it's a
pretenders.
slush fund. Yeah, they just like, oh, why didn't they, like? Hey, you just, for example, I mean, think about this. Kathleen Kennedy, this woman should know. This is a 60-odd-year-old woman who's worked in. She should know that you need to make a profit, but apparently it doesn't. This woman has cost $1 billion cash loss to Disney if you add it all up. But worse than that, and here's when we're not talking about actual cash expenses. Think about this. What is the value of the Marvel brand name right now in Star Wars?
Probably negative.
It is, but I could tell you why it's still working outside of what you mentioned, financially being propped up. The human need for escapism is eternal. It has been with us forever. Any escapism is better than no escapism, and they are counting on that for their righteousness. And they're lobbying for those funds.
I'm gonna go a different angle on this one.
Please
I think
do.
A lot of it is China.
I wouldn't disagree either there.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I like follow me
China.
through on this. The economics, you're talking about the economics. You're absolutely right. There's a lot of government subsidies, and companies you take advantage of them. Why do you think you film in Canada? Because you pay no payroll tax here.
Mhm.
We've set up these industries for it. That's why people film everything in Vancouver. So like you can do it for free. Go for it. But
yeah,
and like I'm not going to get into the whole Chinese Canadian real estate thing. That's tied of it too. China is getting every dollar that they give to things. It has to be approved by the CCP, right?
yeah.
Now, some of it's because we want to entertain Chinese markets, but that kind of lets you know what they're doing. They have to show their influence. Don't put the black guy on the poster if you're selling it in China. Don't have a Chinese person ever look bad on this thing. Like little things like this. Is it such a big stretch to imagine? They love watching like monkey dance. I love watching these Americans. You give them some money and watch their chicks just make some dog shit.
Oh, you guys in Canada can make fun of us just recently here.
I'm only going to be able to for another 2 weeks because then it's illegal to make fun of you.
Well, we have a Chinese national now that is registered voters up there in San Francisco.
Yeah, we had our votes for that in 2012. The CSIS,
What is going on? Jesus
had reported
Christ.
that China had undue influence in Parliament, and we ignored it. So we were doing it 10 years ago. Congrats for catching up. But that's my point. A lot of industries or a lot of people are at play here with a lot of different incentives. I can't remember. There's somebody who's mentioned this Chinese word they use now for like stupid Americans that don't know that girls don't have dicks or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it went. It's the same kind of thing. If you're trying to destabilize a country, why wouldn't you pay Kathleen Kennedy? She's a useful idiot.
Yeah,
and it makes sense because like things that make no sense usually are because you have the wrong assumptions. In this case, we're assuming that the end consumer paying people and people making a profitable thing is the incentive here. It's not.
Yeah.
If you were a company with unlimited or a country with unlimited amounts of money throwing it at something to destabilize a country, why wouldn't you pay feminists to have their man-hating movie number 365? Americans, Star Wars, like if China could, they would pay McDonald's to take a shit in your burger, but they can't. But they can pay for you to take a shit on Star Wars.
Yeah.
Let me corroborate because Ryan brings up a very interesting point. I wouldn't say so much in Hollywood movies, though certainly there might be some Chinese influence there. You know where there is Chinese influence? I think it absolutely is devastating. TikTok, where if you really want to demoralize a country, you take away the pretty girls or you make the girls so completely insufferable. Now, I don't believe China has these training camps where it's like, okay, you American bitches come here. We're going to train you to say the most stupid, demoralizing, antagonistic shit ever. I think it's just actually part of human nature.
Yeah, no, but the ones that do, they'll encourage them. They'll give them clout.
Right.
Yep.
That's the idea of why managed reality is so dangerous, and these people are masters at it.
But let's go back a little bit on the timeline here. The TikTok thing and the woke leftist girl boss movies is a relatively recent phenomenon, but we go back to, say, 1960s feminism, where there's an underlying, one could say, religion or philosophy about female supremacy. It starts as equality and it goes, and then it just becomes they're almost like a cult-like religion. Shit, I forgot my point. It was, we had the Chinese, TikTok,
yeah,
modernly. Oh, It starts as low level nagging, like, okay, we want equality, okay, yeah, fine, I don't think you're going to find a guy, but it's only been turned up where going back as far as like the early 80s, like, we don't need men, burning the bra. It starts to it's already been antagonistic for decades now. And now just this latest incarnation, whether financed by the Chinese, inspired by the Chinese, whatever, or Kathleen Kennedy is an ideologue that now is old enough to be in a position of power. I think men have had their fill by this time. And whereas beforehand, there's like a legal argument or an ethical argument for the equal treatment of women, not just in voting rights, but, in work and everything, which I think would cover the 60s to the 90s. Now I think they've gone too far. Now I think it's gone where, especially with the powers of the internet, to see all this. Cadillo, you're the youngest guy here. I mean, but even men younger than you, I think they're looking at it and saying, fuck this shit. I think that and now, at least on the consumer side, when it comes to buying movies, when it comes to buying movies, buying video games, getting like actually consuming the product, men they're rejecting this.
That's been happening for at least 20 years. I know that I've talked to guys who were younger than me 20 years ago, guys who were 10 years younger than me, and them talking about stuff that they hated, what was all pro-woman stuff. I think there's a certain aspect. We know we see the Chinese, but it's a monetary conglomerate of people who want control, I think, not just the Chinese. Right. And we're like, it's like a humiliation type ritual. They're shaming us. Like,
I think it's a humiliation ritual. Yeah.
They know that we know that it's bullshit, and they're still doing it and holding it in our face.
Yeah. What are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do about it?
Star Wars. Nice try.
We're going to rape Indiana Jones. We're going to destroy the things you love the most. Like, it's demoralizing. It's a demoralizing effort to take away your will to stand up and fight against them.
I
got into an argument with some idiot online talking about how, the media just covers what the people are interested in. So if it's getting attention, it's because the people want it. I'm like, are you serious? Do you really think that communist Russia, like their news was like giving the people what they wanted to hear, or it was propaganda? And like there's still people who do not understand that what the algorithms that are feeding us this shit in our timelines, it's not organic. It's not like, people really care about this stuff.
George Washington wasn't black.
It's controlled.
Yeah. I just can't believe First Name Bunch of Numbers would have such a dog shit take.
Yeah, it blows my mind.
Nuke, you were going to say something. Nuke. Go ahead.
Okay.
So if for the younger guys, it's the video games now. Like, I know most people right now are kind of getting away from AAA titles. Now they're too bloated. They're too, like, especially Ryan, he hates AAA games notoriously. But the thing is, here's an example. I was playing Spider-Man 2 the other day. I'm a Spider-Man fan. Who is it, guys? Before the wokeism, Spider-Man was a pretty cool character, right? He was. He was very relatable.
I want to smack this shit out of Spider-Man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now,
woe is me. Oh, hard life me. Oh, I can't be a superhero and get the girl. Oh, ooh.
And yeah. Well, I was watching a review of it, and I had just finished the game, and I was like, what the hell? It was the most woke AAA title of all time, right? There was gay pride flags all over the city. The black Spider-Man, Miles Morales, he takes over and saves the real Spider-Man like 4 times, and it's like very subversive. It's like, I see what you guys are doing.
Was that the one that had the somebody modded it? They called it the 9/11 mod, where it turned all the pride flags into American flags, and they had to ban the mod. Is that one?
Yes, that one.
Oh, that guy was hilarious.
Yeah. And what's going on now is like there was a fight towards the end of the game. I know none of you guys are gonna play that dog shit game, but Mary Jane, she gets touched by Venom, right? Venom has the ability to make other Venoms, right? Weaker versions of himself. And she turns into, I forgot what's called, like a female Venom. Yeah. Venom, yeah. And that's a character from the comic, so it's canon, right? But during that fight, she's complaining to Peter Parker how like he's not paying attention to her. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Basically, he didn't do the dishes metaphorically. Like, you're always saving the city. You never have time for me. You never support my career.
You would have been more comfortable.
Yeah, and it's just like that. There it is, right there. And then all the collective game community got together and was like, "What the fuck is this?" We have and it was like a 4-stage boss fight with like 30 minutes of just square, triangle, square, triangle.
Like this stuff isn't new. I watched the old Batman, Superman comics thing in the 90s, right? And there was an episode where Wonder Woman was going toe to toe with Superman, punch for punch.
So then, Nuke, are younger Nuke, are younger guy? I mean, are they aware that there's it's like kids on the playground? They're aware the teacher's full of bullshit. Kind of. I know they're pulling away from these video games because there's shit video games on top of it. But is there an awareness that this is more or less propaganda?
The video game community right now is like like, for example, they did the mod where they said, "Fuck this, we're not gonna have gay pride. We're not anti-gay. We just don't want to push this is a video game. It's escapism. We don't want to leave the world that's not so cool right now to go into another world, which is also kind of lame. We want we want a cool video game." Recently there is the Suicide Squad video game where Harley Quinn, she beats the hell out of Batman and Batman's on his knees. I'm not buying the game, right? But Batman's on his knees and she's beating him up with a bat. And I'm just like, that doesn't happen to Batman. Batman does not get beat up by Harley Quinn. Batman either seduces or beats the shit out of Harley Quinn because, equal lefts and equal rights, right? And it's just like, it's like, what's going on right now? And then same thing with the movies. And I tell guys that are always complaining about their beloved characters being destroyed or subverted, just assume that every IP or character that you like will be made lame and gay, like that South Park episode, put a chick in it and make her gay. Yeah, it's just gonna happen. Even Aragorn, and Aragorn is like the most masculine character. Yeah,
but that's the biggest problem. It used to be you had to be Clary's age before you were like, the kids today, and go back to the old stuff. Now there's guys like 23. This stuff today. I'm going to watch Dirty Harry again.
Charles Bronson all the way.
You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go.
Yeah, that wonderful 10 years of a guy's life where everything is new and awesome and tits are fun and Police Academy 4 was the worst one, and they just removed that. And now they have to sit here. It's like, I want to watch Thunderbirds because I'm not watching this new cartoon.
Ryan, you're not wrong, because I think Netflix came out, the shows that are being watched digitally anyway, more than anything else, are like Friends or not the Beverly Hillbillies. Although Pluto TV is definitely, it's such garbage. Well,
be funny how Mr. Ed becomes the most watched show right now.
Right.
Well, you guys heard what happened to the original Star Trek. Netflix had the rights to it. It was one of their most popular series, and it upset Paramount so much they had to buy it back for extra money, and then they sit on it because nobody looks over there.
Dude, they killed Star Trek.
Yeah.
My God.
We could argue this is either a conscious communist takeover of propaganda to demoralize, or Chinese influence, or I'd say it's all of the above, but mostly I'd say it's the generations, as Nuke pointed out. You have young people now. Well, look at She-Hulk. If you look at any of the people who were involved in writing She-Hulk, they're all under 40-somethings. They're all talentless hacks.
Carrie, do you know what a self-insert? You know what a self-insert is?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So Mary Jane was a self-insert. In the first game, she was hot, like objectively hot redhead, like what she was supposed to be, right? And then in the second game, the lead writer, she looked exactly like the lead writer, which was like a mid 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10 chick, and everyone noticed, and they're like, Sony's like, no, she just looks different. And everyone's like, you're full of shit. So it's like people are noticing.
People are definitely noticing. The most recent April O'Neil in the
they made her black.
In the Ninja Turtles, they made her a fat black lesbian.
Well, the epitomal example of that
she's like the worst kind of fat, like the small titty fat.
Google AI's been in charge for a long time, right?
That must suck.
She looks like the writer.
Still don't grow.
Yeah, and she looks like one of the writers for that movie, exactly like one of the writers. And they're just like, I don't know, we just drew her up.
Nuke,
like, okay.
I'll one up you, Nuke. You know the epitomal example of a self-insert, and she's such a pathetic. I mean this, dear madam, if you are listening. She is such a pathetic, worthless human being. Mindy Kaling, she did Velma.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
from The Office, right? Yeah.
Right. I mean, now, okay, you can. It's almost too on the nose where it is so bad. Look, you could write, leftist propaganda in a movie and still have it be a good movie. But these people do not have the abilities and the talents to make anything good. And it is so bad and so on the nose that people are just absolutely rejecting it in full. So when I see an East Indian, a Velma, Mandy Kaling self-insert, and it is just pure hatred of white people and men. Even the rookiest of kids who's 22 and fresh out of college is going to say, fuck that bullshit. That I don't want it on top of it, because it's crap. It's absolute crap. And so regardless of whether, how it got to be this way, talentless hacks that are now populating Disney and Warner Brothers Hollywood in general, a political motivation over the old spinster hags like Kathleen Kennedy, influence and finance from BlackRock, ESG, and all that. The stuff is so bad that, for example, I've said this before, think of who, I don't know the actor's name, who played Finn in the new Star Wars.
Boyega.
You guys know
John Boyega.
I ain't watching
John Boyega.
Yeah, John Boyega.
Everyone thought he was the new Jedi, like the main guy, until like halfway through the movie, you're like, oh, it's the chick.
It's okay. So let's take all the actors and actresses that were involved in the new Star Wars. There was also the the actress who played Rose Tico. Take them all, minority, female, whatever else. Did Kathleen Kennedy and Disney do anything for these people's careers?
No.
Pacific Rim did him far better.
Yeah. Well, they destroyed. I don't know if they destroyed, but they certainly did not help. And then the guy who played Kang in Ant-Man 47. In other words, the product is such shit that it even ruins the ostensibly hired to help improve diversity and inclusion. It ruined minority and women's careers even more. Like not Scott Ridley. Who's the
Ridley
gal
Scott?
Who plays? No, not Ridley Scott. The gal who played Ray.
Ray? Oh, who cares? Whatever. Call her.
No one knows her name. That's my whole point. No one knows her fucking name.
Sigourney Weaver?
No, not Sigourney. No, the gal.
No, the other one, the ugly one.
Sigourney's cool.
Sigourney Alien was good. They did a good woman lead with that. Same with Kill Bill.
Not only are the products so bad, you're ruining the people who are participating in them, but this is doing women no favor because they're putting women such front and center that this utter leftist garbage, talentless shit, on top of it being forced, now it's like, but here for the spokesperson or the people that they put out in front are always girls, and now it's going to have a negative effect, I think, on women.
A lot of these like great actresses and people, in the past, they were great supporting actresses, or like they added to the story in a way that made them legendary. But you put them in the middle and have them carry the show, it's awful, and they look awful.
Yeah,
right.
I think that's a price thing though too, right? Because the writer strike that just happened, and everybody's like, fuck them. But there is really like an underpaid in Hollywood thing, because streaming, all this stuff, it's basically it's doing to Hollywood today what the music industry had in the 90s. That's the problem.
They're doing the
woke
afford
good writers. Who do you get?
They're doing the woke bullshit with the writers too, though.
But that's the writers are shit.
You think you got an awesome writer who writes an awesome story, and they're probably like, you know what? That's just too masculine. Let's go with Phoenicia over here. And
she's cheaper. She's 70 cents on the dollar. And you're already having a hard time making movies profitable, so why wouldn't you hire these cheap people? And your movies suffer for it, but China gave us some cash. It's eking out a living. Everybody got paid, even if the movie lost money, which is Hollywood accounting just still baffles me. How everybody can lose money, but somehow everybody got paid. But whatever. You see what I mean?
Also,
it's almost like it's an issue of watching.
They got to launder that child trafficking money somehow, right?
Yeah, and if this was 2002, we'd be saying this. The music used to be good. The music today, I'm going to go back to listen to Louis Armstrong. We're there with movies now. Because they can only afford these DIY hires because nobody else with any they'll all write books. Everybody with talent to write is on Amazon right now, self-publishing. So like, fuck you guys, I'll make my.
Or writing for anime, or probably writing for anime or something. That
I bet you anything. They're probably making a killing with. Isn't anime like really doing well financially?
Yeah, all the young men and even girls, they're all going there. Everyone is going there.
Yeah, because the chicks in the anime still have big boobs and thigh gaps,
and the guys are like jacked and strong and like brave, and they get the chicks.
Japan had herbivore men 20 years before us, though. Maybe in 10 years from now, there'll be like a Frank Frazetta for Americans, but. Japan had to go through the 90s to get to where we are now. Back when like no man had a woman and you'd work yourself to death, and they just gave up.
Yeah, well, we got good cars though.
But I'd argue, everybody keeps thinking this is like some cultural war. It kind of seems more environmental and economic. Like it's a science, and you just can't
incompetence.
I mean, money's.
Oh yeah, you can only afford incompetence now. The asteroid is hit. The dinosaurs are dying off, and we're all like, the damn feminist made the clouds all gray. And all the plants dying. God damn it. It's like, no, I think the meteor had that.
Nuke, what's your take on the example that I can think of right now? Whereas, we have this thing that Amazon came out with, the most expensive production ever for movie TV, which was
Lord of the Rings.
It was some kind of Power of the Rings or something extremely high. It actually got funding.
Oh, that sounds like a gay bar.
And then here comes a small Japanese company that produces something called Godzilla X for less than 1/10 of one episode and destroys it by a factor of 10.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. You guys remember that movie? How you got a whole bunch of
finish that movie. I couldn't finish it.
It came out the same time as the other multidimensional Marvel movie with Doctor Strange, I think it was called.
Oh yeah, the Mexican chick whose secret power was crossing borders.
Basically.
I thought that was Born In.
And this movie, which had also a very small budget as compared to Marvel, because Marvel's budgets are like $30 billion for like 5 minutes of CGI, and it blew the Marvel movie out of the water. Like people were like, and they all won award. All those actors won award, including that one guy who hadn't acted since like the Goonies or something like that.
Short Round was in that one.
It was good. Short Round. Yeah,
that's awesome.
And he came back into acting because of that movie, and he won the award. Like after
he's been doing that Loki show too.
Yeah. So he's he's a great actor and martial artist. But I think one of the things, now let's talk about the product. These people are writing themselves into holes, right? And they rely on multi-dimensional, gimmicks, right? Like, this person's dead, like Gandalf's dead, but in this dimension he's alive. So he comes back to this dimension and everything's back to normal. Yeah. X-Men did this, and X-Men tanked because it got so confusing. Like, wait, there's two Magnetos, but now there's one, and there's Wolverine. He's still the same Wolverine.
When you start going to time travel shit and dimensional shit, you've run out of shit to run about.
They killed Ninja Turtles.
Like it's so cheap and dumb and confusing. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
So do you think there's any future? I know we're talking and focusing on Hollywood, but in the media, comic. But do you think they're gonna ever course correct in Hollywood? Realize that is the money going to get? Are there losses? Hang on, let me finish, John. Is the money going to run out, and they're like, oh shit, we can't do this, or is the political will so powerful, as Thor was indicating before, that these are true believer NPCs who aren't accountants, that they'll just fucking stay on that ship till it sinks?
I think we're going to get edges, Aaron. There's a really good example you guys should look at right now. It's in an area that I work. There's Chinese immigrants that are not like you think. They're basically Americans, and they're producing a show that Netflix actually pulled up called The Brothers Soon. It's very well acted, and it has some very conventional masculine and feminine drama that is very intense, violent, and looks like it's doing very well. So they're around the edges. I'm seeing some things peek in. But really, I mean, it's anybody's guess because it's been going on for a long time.
Well, there's historical precedent. Remember the 60s, the golden age of cinema? Mm-hmm. That's what made the 70s. The 60s were unsustainable. They couldn't make old school Westerns. They couldn't make that. What happened? A bunch of guerrilla filmmakers in the 70s started making, like late 60s, early 70s, the spaghetti Westerns. That was a satire of Westerns. And that ended up making one of the best Westerns ever. Like Easy Rider, all those films like that, the Dirty Harry series, a lot of that stuff was just people with a camera and a Studebaker, and they're like, let's make a movie. Fuck it. You're going to see some of that now. Like, even good example we all know about. Remember Kevin Savo's Captain Savaho or whatever?
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot more of those. And yeah, they're made on shoestring budgets. You see it in games. Pal World, that like just wrecked Pokemon. And it's one guy. He hired a dude at a gas station because he knew about guns. So he knew how to program guns into the game. Like, that's how guerrilla these guys are making things. And you're going to see a lot more of that. And I think the industry is going to run off a cliff because it's really hard to change direction when you got a whole industry full of people that are used to the same incentives. Yeah, they're going to die off. The other ones are going to replace them. Unfortunately, we're going to be like 65 by the time it completes.
Yeah.
So then finally going to be 70 years old in the movie. Like, finally, some tits in an action cop buddy movie.
Well, look at Barbie and Oppenheimer. Like, that's what happens when you make a movie for the target crowd and stop making it for the other, right? So a Barbie movie was a feminist empowerment movie, and it was made for women, so it did really well, right?
Oh,
guys only went
a masterpiece though, man. It's a great movie. Feminists hate it.
And then you just put in what's the guy's name, the actor?
Ken? Oh,
yeah, and he's a literally me guy. So guys were like, okay, I'll go watch it, my girl, because I like, Ryan Gosling. He's a literally me character. I'm like him. And then he turns out he wins for song of the year, and the reaction, his reaction was so good because they're like Ryan Gosling for I'm Just Ken or something, and he's like, and he slowly gets up out of his chair. He's like, what the hell? And also another thing about Oppenheimer is the actress, the Oppenheimer's late wife, she rejects every girl boss movie script that's handed to her. She has publicly stated, I am so tired of the girl boss. I read it and I throw it out. Like, I want to be a feminine woman in movies, right? And she was really good in that movie, and she was cleaning up after Oppenheimer's clothes. She was there to support him the whole movie. And at the end of the movie, all the people that were trash talking Oppenheimer and didn't defend him in court, she didn't shake their hand for that last scene. And it's just like, wow, now a real woman. Like, this is what a real woman is. Like, crazy. Mm-hmm. So I think right now they're gonna have to make a decision. Like, Barbie crushed, Oppenheimer crushed. Marvel's tanking. Marvel's negative in the last 3 years. It's been negative. Even Spider-Man, whatever, the one with all the Spider-Mans that was supposed to, it barely broke even, right? So they're gonna have to make a decision. Do you want to be right or do you want to make money? Like, which one do you want? So
well, and also going, and I hate to keep picking on you, Nuke, but again, you're like 14 years old, so you're the only representative that can speak for the young people here because we're all old. But people are going to alternative media, both foreign and YouTube. And I guess some of us, I mean, if any of you are younger, you're looking for a great show. Hogan's Heroes is the best show ever made, and so go ahead and watch that if you want. But and I've kind of seen it as well. I'd rather watch a YouTube documentary now than go to the movie theater.
Yes,
and I imagine there are younger people as well. Like, forget it, I'll go take an anime. If you go to the manga section at a comic book store, the few that do exist, those are filled. The American comic book section is a fraction of that. Are you seeing that where they're like, fuck this shit? Like, it is, Hollywood is so bad, young people might actually go outside and play. Am I right in that kind of assessment?
Regardless, what's happening now with the younger guys, because sometimes I go to these like anime events and conventions to pick up merch, gym stuff, and all that. What's going on is that men are looking at movies and they're like, this doesn't represent me. So they go to anime, they go to popular Twitch streamers, YouTube streamers, Red Pill, Red Meat stuff. That's new entertainment for a lot of guys. And what happens is the girls follow them there. They're like, we need to make money on our smut and our boob meat, and we want clout. So the girls follow the guys to these conventions, and they do cosplay, or if they're on a podcast, the whole thing. And there's those guys are becoming like, they're the target audience for this OnlyFans stuff, right? Because a lot of guys like OnlyFans. I would never give money to a girl just for her handler to text me good morning. Like, that's crazy, right? But then I went to an anime convention or rave or whatever, just and I sat in the corner, and guys would come up to me, no social skills, and be like, "Hey, you're dressed like so and so," and I was like, "Yeah, like, how are you?" And they're like, and I'm like, "Dude, you got to talk. This is a conversation, like, And then
say what you're thinking."
Yeah, and then there would be some of the hottest chicks I've ever seen at these places, like that actually look like female anime characters. I'm like, geez, she's hot. Like, and then it clicked. I'm like, oh, these are the customers. These are the guys. This is the bottom 30%. These are the customers. And I realize that now, like, wherever men go, women will follow, subvert. I think, Ryan, you talk about this all the time. Wherever women go, women will follow, try to take advantage of that group, whether it be whatever entertainment, like anime.
Yeah, that's why they want to be the first girl in a niche.
Yeah, and then
that's why Pearl, unfortunately, is the hottest chick in the red pill.
Yeah, but that's just the way it is, and I think this all ends with Hollywood making the decision, like, hey, we're gonna make Barbie for girls and Oppenheimer for boys, and that's it. Like, we're gonna make He-Man for boys, and we're gonna make I don't know, Clueless for girls, right? And if you keep swapping those, both of them are gonna be mad, right? Because for girls, it's never gonna be good enough. As long as they're a masculine man in a movie, it's never gonna be good enough. And for guys, they're gonna start noticing, like, hey, why is Spider-Man arguing with Mary Jane about how he's not doing enough for her? He has to save the fucking city every day. He's risking his life. This sounds a lot like my marriage or my girlfriend. Fuck this. I don't want to argue with my girlfriend in a video game. I want to go to a video game and I want to be like Witcher, like Geralt, and I want to smash witches and have sex with witches and beat the crap out of monsters. I don't want to argue with a woman in real life in a game. I already got that in my real life, you know. So yeah.
I if I had to make a prediction, Hollywood, I think, is too infested with ideologues that the financial reality is not going to make. They're just going to refuse that, because these people, it's more important to them to create a political product. In other words, other people don't exist. They're ultimately solipsistic. And so you're just going to have political trash being made. And you are right. I think, Thor, you were talking about how it was the spaghetti westerns and fringe independent, like Critical Drinker is creating a movie, which I'm actually very interested in watching. Yeah. And, you know, Savo's been making videos and movies for years now. So I think that's going to, but it's like you said, Ryan, it's good. We're going to be old. We're not going to see it come to its golden era. Where, like, oh wow, there's actually some good funding and financing, so we are going to have to rely.
The undertow is real, and I'll tell you, over the last few years, and Cap, you got to see this with women our age and even down into their 30s. The unfulfilled lives that have continued to go on is actually starting to cause a backlash when women are exposed to other women that have fulfilling lives as feminine women fulfilling their conventional roles. And seeing where they end up later in life.
Those exist?
They do, but it's like he said, it's an undertow that's just starting to pull the sand.
Thor, you're 100% right, because I've seen it. We kind of all seen it. The veracity of which I've always doubted, but you have seen more women coming in. And even if it is acting, they're saying, I don't want to work anymore. The latest blonde slut that came on the internet. Oh my God, did you see this? She's crying.
Sydney
oh my God,
Sweeney,
I don't like. Well, I don't. They're indistinguishable. They truly are. But the latest girl who's 23 and crying about, I can't pay rent. I don't have enough money for food. And then adjacent to that is the rise of the trad wives, 2% of which might be authentic. The other percent are grifters. And then also some gals just saying, I'm sick of this feminist girl boss stuff. I want to be just taken care of by a man. I just want to stay at home. Whether it's, 100% sincere confession or just try to get clickbait, the fact they're saying it is also some evidence, I believe, that, wow, you could actually say it now. And at least the idea is out there for a lot of young women to say, oh my God, maybe it isn't all it's cracked up to be. And maybe we did go too far. In other words, these girl boss too close to the sun. They melted their wings and now they're paying the price.
Question for John, in the fight industry, do you see like girls squeezing their way in, like to try to subvert that industry? Or are they just there for the hot guys?
Tell us about Ronda Rousey.
Of course, like you have female announcers all over the place who some of them have never trained a second in their life. And I don't know, man. It's just one of the reasons I kind of stopped watching pro football was because I was annoyed by how many women they had talking. Like I didn't want to hear it. I'm just like, oh my God,
silly woman.
Why am I listening to this girl? Why am I listening to this girl about whatever? She sees what I see. I want to hear from somebody who was there.
Yeah.
Like you have tons of people who were there. I want to know what that person is saying who was there getting punched in the face in that title position. Like, I don't care. Oh, I've got 3 months of jiu-jitsu, or I got a purple belt, or I don't care.
Like, yeah, have you got your face smashed in
like
before?
They don't even have like the girl fighters doing any of that stuff yet. I haven't seen any girl fighters like girls that used to fight doing the announcing stuff. It's always just some girl in a dress doing some kind of play-by-play. I don't care.
Because they're easy on the eyes. It gets the clicks. It gets the views.
It's like the anime waifus. Oh, wow,
yeah.
That's the anime.
But, you know, looking back to when UFC kind of started getting popular in the mid-2000s, that's kind of when you could feel the sense that something was changing. Was you started seeing women in the audience by themselves. Like usually it was a group of guys had dragged a couple girlfriends, and the girlfriends were, you know, talking to each other, just drinking and not looking, or sitting down, not paying attention. But now you'd see a group of 4 girls completely dressed to the nines, sitting as close as they could to the cage with their tits out. You know, like that's when you're like, oh, okay, something's happening.
You gotta hold the cards. You're not supposed to talk. You're supposed to hold the thing and be shut up.
Do you guys remember that moment when you saw the strip club starting having chicks going there for girls' nights out?
Yes.
Oh, there's a Family Guy cutaway for this. It's hilarious.
It was the saddest thing I ever saw in my moment, man. There was this place called the Fox in Victoria, BC, where I used to live when I was sailing. And I used to love going to that place. I didn't even care about the strippers. It was just, I like having tits around. Like, I just need them there. I don't need to stare at them. I'm not paying them for lap dances. And I remember the one day I showed up and all of the meat seats was all chicks wooing and they were excited. They were into it. And I was just like, can I not have my shitty dive, like my crappy dungy place that I'll probably get sick the next morning? But you're taking my woman.
No place is sacred, Ryan. No place is sacred.
The dive bars are full of hipster chicks.
I love you guys saying that about the chicks
whatever,
sticking their tits out and everything. You know, recently I was blind.
Oh, dude, the strippers hate it when the girls start getting all sexual at the strip clubs. Those are always the funniest when the strippers yelling at some chicks like, I'm performing, not you. Sit your whore ass down.
So when I lost the vision in my left eye, there was only one thing I could actually see still.
What's that?
A nice pair of tits out to about 50.
That's what woke Thor up. That's what woke him up. He's like, whoa, I'm back.
It was the only thing I could actually see.
Speaking of which,
therapy.
Has this been addressed yet that Madam Web had the hottest actress now, and they did not use it? Justice
it's not their,
Sydney.
It's not their fault.
Jack, preach.
It's not their fault.
I want you to preach.
Justice for Sydney Sweeney, the most blessed actress right now walking around, and they did not use it. They did not put her in a skin tight suit. Nothing. We got nothing. Men revolt. We were stolen.
2 hours of a turtleneck. That sucks.
Let me explain for the older audience how right Jack is, because it's Sydney Sweeney.
I came down from the mountain of the Netherlands.
So Jack, the actress's name is Sydney Sweeney, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so all I saw, and Hollywood, take it for what it is a middle-aged white guy who you probably want dead in a trench somewhere, but I got money. I saw the Madam Web. All I saw was 3 idiot girls, like truly NPC wallpaper background. Didn't even pay attention, and then I saw a 2.5-second video of what I then later on found out was Sydney Sweeney walking out on some performance thing. She had a dress on that was kind of like a cross pattern, and she had cleavage. She was blonde. She was beautiful. I don't remember any tattoos. All she did was walk out, turn around once, and smile. I'm like, holy fucking shit. Then I looked her up. And I'm like, that woman right there, if Hollywood would dare to allow women to be sexual, if you just made her spider slut and the fight for the dominate, you could title it anything. I will show up to that.
Even a hotter villain, even a hotter female villain too. Oh yes, that would be awesome.
She will reign in the big-breasted blonde supremacy. Caesar will return in form of Sydney Sweeney. Hot women will come back under the reign of Caesar Sydney.
I'm ready.
Well, it's like what's her name? Scarlett Johansson, where she got into the industry for being hot, and people wanted her as a whatever superhero she was.
Black Widow.
Black Widow. And she was like the sex appeal of the Marvel. Like she looked really good in black. Like I don't know if you guys remember, she had a nice rack, and yeah, she is hot. Like she is gorgeous.
Look at Nuke. Do you remember the 2007? Oh, there was this girl. Her name was.
I've aged so much in the last couple years.
She was a redhead hot woman.
And then she started complaining about like 3 movies in after she got all her money and all her fame.
Yeah, and how old did she turn?
Like 30 something.
Yeah, right on time, right on schedule.
She was like, I want to be seen as more than just the hot chick in Marvels. And I'm like, well,
too fucking bad.
You guys
I know, right? Like, what do you want us to do?
It's the red hair. If you see the red hair, you know there's trouble.
Thor knows how to find a bad woman that'll get you in trouble. Yeah, that's it.
Or several.
So let me. I guess we'll do a final question here. In the context of modern day feminism, modern day post 60s, and this kind of the movie, media, comic book, video games being the marketing media manifestation of this feminine, and it's just being such utter garbage and so much volume that everyone's upchucking. How has this affected the reputation of women in the United States, in particular? I know the West in general, but what kind of reputational damage, if any, has been done?
I don't know. They're being replaced by hentai waifus or something. I don't know. Probably.
I never liked American women when I was going to foreign ports. Like, I'm not saying they don't look good, but like to hit on them, there's something unique about the American experience that made it not as fun. European women, great. Asian women, great. African women, great. South American women. I don't think it made it worse. I think it just amplified it. I really do.
I'm kind of going along with you. Is we're also introducing, we're talking about movies and historical feminism, what we see on the internet. Then there's people's actual experiences. You throw that in there, and I just think getting back to my main thesis, I think men have just had enough. Where there's not necessarily that the pendulum is going to swing back forcefully, but it has stopped. And I think just the idea that now you can tell a girl, shut the fuck up. We're sick of your feminist bullshit. Eat a bag of dicks. 5-10 years ago, you might have been accused of misogyny. Now it's just like, yeah, you've overplayed your hand. It's done now.
I think I can explain this. Okay. So you know how like Latin women, like when you think Latin women, oh, Latin women are the greatest. Italian women, oh, muy bueno. Chinese, Asian women, oh, there's the yellow fever thing. White, like American women, Bob's and Vagine. That's the appeal. Remember that California Girls used to be the greatest thing on earth.
Yeah,
the Swedish bikini team, all that. Now it's Bob's and Vagine. They've really hit the bottom of the barrel for like international branding.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
yeah, I don't know.
You guys are thinking, you're like, holy shit, he's right.
Well, I don't even think Bob's and Vagine. When I think American white
that's
women,
the only deification that's there anymore in media.
That's the only positive one. What I'd say, it's fat, loud, tatted up, obnoxious woman at Walmart.
Yeah,
they're just tired. They're stressed and tired, and they take it out on us all the time.
Well, what's their reaction going to be? I mean, here's the sad thing is, in order to improve, you need to be self-aware. And much like the people who are writers or theater actors in Hollywood are in an echo chamber, are unaware. I think there's been so much propaganda and smoke blown up of women's dirt shoots here that they're just great and brave and amazing that Thor probably could speak more competently to this. Between Thor's and my age is a lot of women, their dream, their manifestation never came true. And now they're pissed off. Now they're on antidepressants. Now they're on vengeance. As per that Emily Gould article, please read The Lure of Divorce by Emily Gould, where there's no reasoning with them. There's no sitting down and saying, hey, in other words, there's not going to be a mature empirical conversation as to what's happened these past couple of decades. And so I think it's just they're going to have to walk away, and hopefully a younger generation of Sydney Sweeney's comes in and says, oh, I forgot, tits, everybody. And men are like, yay, you came
Wasn't that
back.
They're all over the map now? It's like, hey, bring trans people in. No, kick them out. No, bring them in. Not the bathroom. Let's have sports with everybody. No, kick them out of the girls' sports. They don't know. They're throwing shit against the wall.
That's another thing. There's no consistency. It's sad, but a lot of guys are like, oh, it's just women talking. You could ignore them. Like, there is no incentive even to heed what women are saying anymore because of all this propaganda and bullshit.
Then why is Twitch still popular? There are plenty
of dying. They just laid off everybody.
Oh, damn.
And the only reason they got anything is because of the horse head chick that's in the hot tubs. That's like this is our last shot, man. Let's just do like borderline porn.
Yeah, and people are starting to catch on that like the age range for kids for boys for Twitch is like what 8 years old, 9 years old, and they have women with flaming tits on there, and it's just like
I mean they gotta hit puberty sometime.
Yeah.
Is that the equivalent of like the satellite dish and the fuzzed out channel 47?
Yeah.
The Twitch stream.
We were just like, oh wait, was that a nipple? Shit, I gotta.
Maybe that's what girls mean when they're like, we need to ban porn. It's like, no, you need to ban Twitch.
Yeah.
Your kids aren't on Pornhub. They're on Twitch.
Well, the ultimately like men are starting to have a little bit more power in terms of how they go about their entertainment. Like for example, we have video game mods, like you guys mentioned. They turned all the gay pride flags in a AAA video game to US flags. That's a big deal. That's like, it may not be big to the average person, but to the video gaming community, that was a very big deal. Like there was beatings about that. There was controversy, and now you have Skyrim. You have mods where they make women hot in games because now they're making all the women mid or ugly. Now they make them hot.
That's obviously. I think that's where it's going to go. It's decentralization. You're going to see people creating their own stuff, their own movies.
Yeah,
we already have. I mean, there's people. I think. People making their own documentaries have been happening for a little while.
Yeah,
like it's kind of like phase one. The gamers and hackers making their own mods and stuff, but eventually it's gonna grow because people are gonna go where stuff is good.
I'll draw another parallel. Anytime an economy or market doesn't provide what it needs, you got to go to a foreign market or outside market, not necessarily over Japan. Right. And that's what I'm saying. There's a parallel both between men's search for media. So we'll go watch Godzilla 1, we'll watch older movies, things like that. But also with passport bros and guys going overseas just to find, more for their personal lives. And so I think there's definitely a parallel where like, I am sick and tired of shit, whether it's my media, my movies, or our dating options. And they're going overseas, much to the chagrin of other people. But I'd say to the people who are whining and complaining, oh my God, the Hollywood directors or whoever it is, oh, it's because of racist, sexist people. They're not watching our shows. And people just say, fuck, we're gone. We're not even going to argue with you. Yeah,
you win
another $1 billion. Yeah, fine. I'm going to go watch a much better anime like Cowboy Bebop, that actually has a plot, unlike, One Piece Pirates or something.
Well,
like that.
for a kid that's always watched like Netflix, like it shows like that where the women always get the upper hand and they're the hero and they know everything, like the Mary Sue. You watch something old like Outlaw Star where one of the female characters is the comic relief, and that's insane. Like she gets beat up, she gets punched, she gets shot, and no one takes her seriously. That is insane for a 20-year-old guy that's only watched women good, men bad, and they can't stop watching it because it's like, wow, like women are dumb. I can watch shows where women are can be silly and stupid. Like this
feeling I've always had. It's now being presented to me.
Right now, we
underestimate the biggest show on earth, man.
We underestimate.
I knew I wasn't insane. They're actually dumb.
Yeah, we underestimate how much Japan has dug their heels into like their media production. Like the One Piece stuff did really, really well as compared to the Cowboy Bebop one. Because the original writer was like, don't fuck with my shit. Do not fuck with it. I will come after you. I will sue you into oblivion. Do not fuck with my shit.
You mean the real life adaptation?
Yeah. Not the. So, there was another example where in Dragon Ball Z, there is a blackface character, Mr. Popo, right? And, when the age of woke started, and Dragon Ball Z is one of the most popular animes of all time, they said, hey, can you change Mr. Popo to purple? Because he's like black and he has the red lips and all that stuff. Can you and the creator, like I think Akira Toriyama was like, go fuck off. He's going to be as black as I want him to be. Literally almost like that. And it's just like that. Yeah. And I'm just like, fuck yeah. Like I'm okay with it. I think every black person on earth is okay with Mr. Popo except you. So fuck off.
I read that interview. Akira was like, you know what? Just because of that, I want to make 3 Mr. Popos.
Yeah.
That's what.
And they can do that because it's Japan. So that's why Japan is going to be the future in terms of entertainment.
Japan doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't care.
Population's gone in 20 years. What do we got to lose? Fuck it.
What's this thing? Jack, maybe you know, and Nuke, the Stellar Blade thing. What, it was just a hot Asian chick that they had as the main antagonist.
Thigh gap, girl with thigh gap and big ass, aka things that American women can never achieve because they can never get in shape. So they're mad at her.
Nuke, I knew I liked you for a reason. That's
besides the diversity hire, yes.
Whoa, I lost token status.
No,
that's bullshit.
Jack is our special needs diversity hire. You two guys just have to. That's it.
Great. I just got it promoted to white. Thanks, Nuke.
Let's go through the round so we can all go home and enjoy our lives. Final question. We'll do the thing and walk around, and I'll close out with what you guys got going on. Predictions for the future. Jack, go ahead.
Predictions for the future of media.
Yeah, like media, like it. Are they going to continue to girl boss? Are people going to show up? Like, I think Nuke, you told me that there's a female John Wick coming.
There's a female everything. There's female there's God of War is going to come out. It's going to get feminized, which is the most masculine video game of all time, probably. And they're going to make a series, and they're going to make that one black chick like the sidekick or something. It's all gonna, everything is like, just assume that every beloved character you've ever looked up to or enjoyed is going to turn feminized. They don't care. They don't care. Every single one of them.
All right, they're going to continue on. Thor, predictions from you. You're muted, Thor. There you go.
Okay, we're back. Can you hear me? All right.
Yep.
Sorry about that. No, my prediction is pretty straightforward. We will continue to live in a managed reality. However, little bits and pieces of objective reality will poke through with the truth. I mean, just like the guys right here, they're going to give you glimpses of it, good, bad, indifferent. It'll be distasteful because managed reality is easy, and everybody wants easy. But back to Cappy, the undertow is there with the girl bosses and their lack of fulfillment later in life. This will start to translate to some degree. How much? I don't know. But I ain't going to give a fuck.
Cool. Stone.
Who cares? I'm watching RoboCop. I'm having a blast.
Nice.
Just keep it simple. Make your world smart. If it's shit, don't watch it. If it's not made for you, don't watch it. You're not made to like Star Wars now. Some 14-year-old girl boss is made to like it. So this 14-year-old girl series is pissing me off. It's like, yeah, you wanted to get pissed off.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. Watch Easy Rider. Watch go get an old porn mag. I don't care. Watch Heavy Metal for the 15th time. 1982. Great animation. Go watch some Japanese stuff. Read that.
Yeah.
Akira. Watch some Akira.
Oh, dude. Don't even get me started. But I mean, that's the point, right? Like, if you're one of these guys that loves to watch them, they're not appealing to me. Fuck these people. It's like, I think you want to be angry. I think you want to be like that housewife who wants to nag her husband to death. But you're a man raised as a defective woman. So you're just like, I'm just going to act like a bitter housewife at home. That's much better than doing anything reasonable with my life. I'd rather watch, like, fucking put oxygen on Mars with 3 tittied strippers. Enjoy your misery. I'm going to be over here with Clary. It'll be fun.
Go watch Monster or Vampire Hunter D. Shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Is that the anime with all the tentacles? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, there's many of those.
Oh.
But you know what anime doesn't do anymore since the 80s? They don't cut people in half vertically anymore. That was my favorite part of it.
That was a
You see like an eyeball and a brain popping out. I love that shit.
Yeah, they only do beheadings. Like Demon Slayer is like all beheading. It's gruesome, but
people again. That's what they took from us. Not this bullshit.
Ninja.
Anyways, that's it for me. I'm just rambling.
Fitch.
Well, we all know there's going to be an economic collapse, and the robot dogs will enslave us all, and we'll be doing puppet shows in the what do you call it? The gulags.
The gulag.
So I think that's going to be the main source of entertainment. That and watching rodents and ants eat our friends that have died when we're tied up.
Jeez, this is a good anime. I like this. This is a good idea for an anime. Let me write this down.
I don't know, man. There's so many things that are wrong right now. Like, it seems like a lot of bad stuff could happen. The whole infrastructure could just collapse, and then what are we going to do for entertainment? But no, I think everything's probably going to be mostly all right. I think as long as you're not an idiot and you have some levels of questioning things, you'll be all right. But I don't know. We may get to the point where we're like handing off thumb drives to each other for like shows that have been banned and demonetized and
for pennies.
Like
for pennies right here.
Their banking whatever person has been shut down, or they got kicked out of their bank because they're making anti-woke movies or something. I don't know if things get that dystopian. That could be a dystopian future where we gotta here's a floppy disk with The Office on it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
That's what
all right,
said.
Jack.
Okay, the future, in all honesty, I think the girl boss thing will always be an archetype because, of course, they will always want to have women in the theater seats. However, you do see more and more, slowly but surely, appeal to men again. It's not a lot, but it is coming. As you can see in comics, the sales are absolutely being decimated by manga. So people who would want to make money, and you will always have those people, will look at it and go like, oh shit, we're doing it wrong. Not saying it's going to happen soon, but it's going to happen eventually because people want to make bank. The world has always been feminized. Eggs are expensive, sperm is cheap. So we will always have that. But as I said, there will be a larger appeal in media to a certain extent for men again.
Okay.
Because Japan doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, I get it. All right, let's do quickly here. Here's what let's do. I know how Rollo did tell us what you're up to, and 8 hours later, Rollo finishes off with his latest speaking engagement. So, Jack, quickly, where can people find you? What are you gonna do? And then we'll go to super chats after. If you guys want to stick around, you can.
This morning, no.
It's the Putin interview. In order to understand the red pill,
did you know
you must go back to 2003.
In the Netherlands, we had an 80-year-old war with Spain. No,
that was such a good. Thank God, that's the media I like. That's the shit I would want. I want to watch Putin and Tucker Carlson go at it and bore him to death with the history of the world.
Okay, before Cappy gets cranky, my channel is in the chat. Tomorrow we're going to do Post Zero, Nuke, Chat of Arabia, Dante, Archringer. All the guys are going to show up talking about modern, Chesty perhaps as well. Talking about modern media is not made for you.
Okay. Ryan.
So kind of like today, but we're going to talk about it.
Dread the book, dread the audiobook. The easy answer, just ryanstone.com/dread. It takes you right to there. And then the Substack. Honestly, that's where I'm doing most of my work right now. Just ryanstone.substack.com. Join it for free. You'll get the summary. If you want to do a deep dive, get super autistic with the stuff, then yeah, there's a paid version. So enjoy it.
Cool.
Enjoy it.
Thor, you never promote it. I want to make sure you promote your course, and then you could go ahead and promote your book, but tell everybody about your stuff.
Sure. You can find me at becomedurable.com. There's a course on how to become a power lineman. Where do you start? You want to make up to $300K a year. It gives you absolute guidelines within an hour on how you can research the certificates and the schooling that would be necessary to get your foot in the door in a career like that as a skilled tradesman. Also, you can find a lot of free stuff on becomedurable.com. To my book, my audio book, and there are skill sets in there that you can take a look. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And like I said, a lot of free stuff in there. And all of my lectures are on sale right now there. So anywhere.
It's good to see you out of the hospital, sir.
Yeah,
glad to see you up and talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Nuke. You look good. Hey, so shows Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. I talk about game, red pill stuff. So and mindset. My last show was really good. I got a couple messages with guys that it helped them a lot. So for the guys that, if you're watching, I saw your messages. Thank you. And we got the Dragon Ship at 12:30 Central, so in about 50 minutes. So come see us there. We're going to talk about genuine burning desire, And Sunday, I got Post Zero with Jack and the boys. We're going to talk about kind of the same topic. Maybe we'll get a little more nerdy with it because we're all kind of nerds. So
we will.
Yeah, and that's all I got for now. Thanks.
Cool. And then I'm Aaron Clary. You can find me at assholeconsulting.com. I have books on everything that you should read about on Amazon.com. And you can take my courses on everything you should take courses on over at the Clary School of Economic Philosophy on Teachable.com. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the show. Do you guys want? You can stick around for super chats if you want, but if you got to take off, but I am going to go through the super chats here.
Well, I'll stick around.
Yeah, I like hearing the super chats.
Okay, Burbshide, 2 Australian, recommend Paprika and Ghost in the Shell. Have you seen Paprika, Nuke? I've never heard of that.
What I do is I watch a 90s or like old school anime and then a new one together, so I can keep that balance between,
Okay, I've never heard of Paprika, but that'd be one. I have seen Ghost in the Shell. See Dumbledore, 10 generous dollars. The death of girl bossing, end of free money. Oh, good point. And low interest rates. Have you noticed how much trouble these companies are having and the layoffs that occurred, especially in Silicon Valley once interest rates went up?
Mm.
They didn't. Zombie companies, DEI. End of free shit, USA bankruptcy, and end of free validation. First generation of social media zombies finally hitting the wall. I bet these young boys, especially patting ourselves on our own back, the young generation of men today, they're not duped. They know exactly this fucking bullshit they see. So I think that's a good thing. Nonstop Dre, $362. Thoughts on upcoming Borderlands movie? Bet it's woke. Yeah, I don't know. Have you guys seen anything with the Borderlands movie? I didn't know one was coming out. I saw a poster thoh.
Assume they're gonna make it fake, lame and gay. Just assume, so you don't get your heart broken, dude.
But don't obsess. Don't obsess.
That's it.
I unfortunately bought Tales of the Borderlands 2. Think it was a Borderlands game. It is not. It is absolute woke shit. And since that is its latest product, I'm going to assume the same people in the Borderlands franchise are still there, and it's just going to be woke trash.
Just look at early life on Wikipedia of the writers, and you'll get everything you need to know.
Okay. Vernon Waldrip, who had a very nice comment about why he donates. Thank you very much, Vernon. $2. This fake bravado will not last. Facts don't care. I think he means of the girl boss type of side. I think you see it personally in their eyes and their lives. They tried. And the weaker generations, meaning the younger generations, at least my generation, they're still trying to girl boss in their late 40s. I mean, they're miserable and they're antidepressants and they're contemplating nooses. But the Zoomers, the lineal types, they couldn't even make it to 24 years old without breaking down and crying. So
it'll last as long as they make girl boss movies for girls. Like stop taking like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and making it girl boss for girls or for boys too. Like if you take Barbie and you make a Barbie movie and you make it for girls, it's gonna crush at the box office. I hope they learned that last year.
And guys still loved it more.
Yeah, and Ryan Gosling still got best song of the year.
Well, we're just better at everything now. Sports, women's sports included, I guess.
God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look at that cute corgi.
It's Ein Paracelsus Underact, 20 generous dollars. You about a controlled reality. People still haven't realized that we have abandoned capitalism. Oh God, good point, Paracelsus. People keep saying like, America's capitalism and it's failing. Like, not with 40% GDP on government spending, it ain't.
Yeah.
We are practicing collectivism. We have a central bank, government social programs, mergers of government and corporate power. Yeah, we bail out corporations, we bail out people. Yeah, we have a
God, you guys sound like Canadians.
No, you guys are like, you guys just keep on improving.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Nonstop Dre, $2. I exclusively play older games like Skyrim. I don't blame them. I don't know about
you can mod Skyrim with big tits. So
yeah. The last game I played was called Ghost of Tsushima, and I think Jack, you were one who recommended it among many other people. That was spectacular. But that is a generation old video game, and I'm not dropping those $70 on like Kill the Justice League or whatever other garbage is out there. Nonstop Dre, $2. The only new game I'll play is Stellar Blade. Yep, I'm gonna buy that when I get back home to South Dakota. Only because I may not like it, but it seemed to have pissed everyone off, so I got that. Same thing with the not Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter video game. Because it just got the left,
Troons hated that one.
Yeah.
Nonstop Dre, $2. Batman Arkham Knight has hot female characters,
and it sucks.
The game sucks?
Arkham Knight was all right. Like
no, Arkham Knight. Oh, what's the new one?
The one where they beat Batman with the bat. That was like the whole video game industry is like going crazy over that now. They're like, what the fuck? You don't beat Batman up.
But the new one
only Bane does.
The new one is an Arkham as well, right?
No, it's like a spinoff.
Oh, my bad.
The new one is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. That's the and it's so bad. I think
it flopped.
Yeah. Well, I listened to Yellow Flash. It was talking about how on stream, they only have like 500 people playing online at any given moment.
When video games flop, it's really bad. Like it's worse than a movie because when video games flop, they have to go back in because they can change it. That's the thing. Like when a movie's out, you can't change it. It is what it is. You can't delete scenes and stuff enough to where you make it good. For a video game, they're still on the hook. They're like, okay, fix it. It happened with Final Fantasy 14, which now it's better than World of Warcraft because they're like, hey, this flopped. You guys fix this shit right now. And it became one of the best. It became the best online massive multiplayer of all time now because they were like, fix this shit. You're on the hook still.
They responded to the customer?
Yes.
Japan?
And it became Japan, yep. And that was the best online game. It beat WoW. It just beat WoW. So
what would a game like Kill the Justice League cost to make? Does anyone have? I mean, is it
same
more
as a
than
movie
movies?
now? Yeah,
they're like $500 million a pop.
Yeah,
that's why
AAA
they release
games
them as unfinished games right now. So they're offloading the risk to the customer. So you get an unfinished game, and if it breaches a certain sales threshold, they'll go in and fix it.
And then you have
put the rest of the money in.
And then you have these indie games that are funded by Kickstarters, kicking A-listed games asses.
Power World.
Oh, man, fucking Hollow Knight, things like that is just amazing.
Another thing I have, it's kind of, it's not fair, but with all the writers and content developers, not software engineers, but then also movie director, the gal who directed The Marvels, they touted her the first Black female movie director of a Marvels film. And when you keep promoting people based on the color of their skin or their plumbing down below and not their ability, they make crap. And it is
what a baseball stat they just gave on that one.
Oh yeah, Kathleen Kennedy's trying to like make women look great and awesome and amazing, and you just make people say, "Wow, is it another?" Now we're actually getting into actual misogynist territory. Did a woman make it? I don't want it because the past 5 products that women have made have been utter dog shit.
Guys, we finally did it, and we didn't have to do anything.
We didn't do anything.
You know,
they brought misogyny back themselves.
You know, because
Earl and Kathleen Kennedy did it.
The best episode of what's the Boba Fett series that did really well?
Mandalorian?
Yeah, the best episode of that series was produced by the girl that played the girl from Jurassic Park. What's her name?
Gina Carano?
Bryce Danner.
No. The hot one, the hot girl with the big ass.
Oh, the redhead.
Yeah.
Bryce
and no one knew. And it's just like, wait, a girl produced this episode. Like, shouldn't they pump her up? And it's like, no, she's not black or Hispanic or fat or trans or anything. She's just a hot blonde chick. You know?
But now the ones who are promoted, have ruined this woman's reputation, who is obviously capable then.
Yeah, so if Sydney Sweeney made produced an episode of whatever, and no one would know because she's got it all. She's hot, blonde, and they're like, we can't have that. We need a black fat chick, you know,
like the Pakistani gal they came in who's going to be the first female director of a Star Wars film or something. Remember Shabik Oban or something like that.
Yes.
And just
fucking
this
political documentary maker. Yeah,
that's what we want for our fun. Dave, for $2, Price is Right on Pluto TV is the best hot 80s chicks. That alone, 80s. Thor, you remember 80s chicks, right? Weren't they fun?
Oh man, Glamour City, brother.
Oh.
Lots of good stories there.
My Truth, The King, $2. Dang it, Alex Jones, right again.
Yep.
Water turning frogs gay.
Frogs gay, yeah.
Are you trying to have sex with me? That's cool. I love that. I saved it in my phone for a reaction.
Yeah, you know, I got to meet him and Ron Paul years ago. So
nice.
Vernon Waldrop, $2. I mean, look at 2008 Bankers stayed on the ship. Yeah, the Bankers are scum. Just my very first book, Behind the Housing Crash. I tear up the Bankers. Vernon Waldrop again, $2. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have gambled, ladies. They're going to keep doubling down. Cappy's lover, Big Mike, $69.69, $2. Baby, why must you leave me alone in bed? Cappy's lover, Big Mike. This is because I'm one of the rare people that think Michelle Obama was very pretty. I thought she carried herself as a first lady should. Everybody thinks she's a guy, and so I catch much shit. I think this is Dre's other channel, and so as long as they pay me $2, they think that I like a transsexual.
I just want her back workout. That's all I want. I want her back.
I will stand by it. Go look at Michelle Obama. She was always in a nice dress and very, very ladylike. So,
Cappy, we know you like dick.
We're gonna get a lot more over here soon.
See, here it comes. Here it comes.
It's okay. It's okay. Like you're a pole swinger. It's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, Big Mike.
Fine, Cappy.
Okay.
Here's your choice: Obama or Oprah. 80s Oprah.
I got to do Oprah. Yeah, no,
take both.
It's fine,
no,
guys.
I don't want to take both. I just Cappy's big lover for Mike, $2 again. I'm the only strong male lead Cappy needs. Cappy's lover, Big Mike, $2. How dare you think I'm nonstop Dre?
Dude, he's gonna turn you into a skin suit one of these days. What the hell?
Well, as long as I get some super chats and I die late in life. Ram Badger, 5 Canadian. I would highly recommend Ninja Kamui. Okay.
Kamui?
Yeah.
Ninja Scroll?
Alex, I don't know. Alex Patino, a truck driving Latino agent in the field. Drink whiskey and read books. I keep finding non-woke reading material. Yeah, you are just gonna have to go back in time and go overseas. It's just the modern day shit is crap.
Lord of the Rings is still good. It's still a classic. It's still good.
I roll, therefore I am 20 generous Canadian bucks. I see girl bossing where I am in the blue collar world, but I need to look fast because it takes no time for these girls to run and sit at a desk. Some stick around and do well, and I respect those, but it's so rare. Correct. Nelson Rivera, $5. Don't forget the download content for Elden Ring this June. All right. And Sig226, $5. People have been brainwashed into believing that anything that happens in the U.S. is automatically capitalist. Correct. Capitalist is a term coined by Marx. Free market economics is what it really is. You can call it whatever you want, but yeah, look how well that Marx thing worked out. Not only for Marx, but all of his followers. That was wonderful.
Now we got
dude, he was a freeloader. He used to mooch off his parents. He had no job. He was essentially Hassan Piker, or that Hassan guy on Twitch.
Yeah,
honestly,
every
you guys
Twitch
look into
streamer.
it. Look at his previous thing. His dad expensed. He used to travel the world and just write about how great he was. He was the original Sam Payne socialist.
Yeah, he's a parasite, and he lived off of Ingalls' dad, technically. Just this is why you don't trust rich kids. Yep. You just don't trust rich kids. Whether they come from a welfare state where everything's paid for, or whether they come from the suburbs. You don't trust people who never had to work for a living. My truth, the king, $2. You will take both Cappy and you will like it. All right, that's it. We will see you guys later. Thanks for coming on the show, guys, and toodles.